This is file number 2647ST. People versus Cecil Allen Leach. That's you, sir?
Yes, sir.
You got a ticket for driving without a valid license on January 11th. You moved the arraignment to today and you are here. You got a ticket on January 11th at 2:30 in the morning at Centerville Road, Elm Street in Sturgis. I didn't know that was Elm Street in Sturgis, but they wrote this under state statute. I don't know why they keep doing that. Let's see what your status is. You're not licensed. Did you ever have a license in another state?
Yeah, I have been in Indiana.
You have an Indiana license?
I did, yes.
All right, this is what often happens. So you have an issue with your Indiana license?
Yeah, it's currently suspended.
Well, then the way they charge it here is no ops ever acquired, 257904. I think that's how he charged this. Yes, that's a misdemeanor, punishable by up to 90 days in jail and a fine of up to $500. Normal fine is $100 plus $125 of state costs. How do you plead to that charge?
I'm not guilty.
What do you suggest, Mr. Truckee?
I asked for counsel to be appointed. It's charged kind of funny. So.
Well, it's charged the way they normally charge it. What are your chances of getting your license fixed in Indiana?
I would have to pay off some tickets, some reinstatement fees, and file a SR-22.
How'd you get here today?
My fiance drove me.
Where's she?
She's currently in the lobby with the kids.
All right. I heard them. Well, I normally wouldn't appoint a lawyer on no ops ever applied, but you live in Sturgis?
I'm currently in the process of moving to Sturgis. As of right now, my mailing address is in Indiana, Auburn, actually. Like I said, we're in the process of moving everything up here this way.
All right, I'm going to appoint an attorney, set an attorney pretrial for 3/6/26 at 8:30. We're going to be very busy that day also. Whatever you can do in Indiana to get squared away would help your circumstance here. All right, now I have Mr. Clark. Here's his file. Bear in mind, he also has an unpaid ticket of $220. That's the one you were going to ask the prosecutor if they would talk to him in an instant pretrial.
I was going to try to sort that. Yeah.
So there's that file. In the meantime, I'll take a plea on Mr. Bush's case, Mr. Ebert, and we'll see if you can get a prosecutor to talk with you. Good morning, Mr. Ebert. This is file 252845, People versus Jeremiah Ray Ebert. Or excuse me, Robert Jeremiah Ebert. No, I got it wrong. Jeremiah Ray Ebert, but it says here Egbert.
It's Egbert.
Egbert.
Yes.
All right. They wrote Ebert, and I met you at your arraignment. You pled not guilty of this charge of no valid operator's license and speeding. The prosecutor is going to dismiss the speeding charge, which will save you $90. And you're going to plead to having no valid license under Constantine ordinance. That's no ops, we call it. It's a misdemeanor, a minor one, punishable by up to 90 days in jail and a fine of up to $100. And it does carry 2 points. Normal fine is $100 plus costs. Do you understand?
Yes.
Anybody threaten you to get you to plead to this
No.
or promise you anything?
No.
I forgot to tell Miss Rappy she had some unpaid fine. All right, where were you going?
I was leaving the gas station in Constantine and actually getting ready to go pick my daughter up at Glen Oaks College, which
Why don't you have a license?
I have issues going on in Indiana, which I'm currently going to court for them to try and resolve that because of this ticket. And it's going to end up being resuspended for another year.
Well,
So
you're
that's
on
why
what
I'm
I
here
call the
pleading
driving
guilty to this.
suspended merry-go-round, but you did have someone drive you here today.
Yes, my wife.
Good for you. Yeah, it's a bummer getting suspended. It makes life difficult in the world we live in.
I think the only good thing is now that I'm actually taking care of Indiana, so eventually I will get it back. Yeah.
What often happens as a result of all this travail, you do things to actually get yourself situated,
Yes.
if there is any silver lining. All right, $100 fine, $50 state minimum fee, and a $75 crime victims' rights fee, $225. Can you pay that today or need time to pay it?
Yes, you pay
No?
today.
All right, very good. You can pay on a credit card, but I'll send you out to the counter with the court officer. And this is done. Thank you for your patience.
All right, thank you.
All right, we turn to Abraham Clark. Oops. He has license, registration, and insurance. Mr. Truckee, what's the status here?
I spoke to Ms. Stoll from the prosecutor's office. She agrees that no proof of insurance would settle this matter.
Well, that's very generous.
She's my favorite prosecutor.
All
Don't let Mr. Robert know said.
right, no proof of insurance is a civil infraction. I guess they don't want to beat you up. No license and driving without a registration are going to be dismissed, especially since you got an earlier ticket for some of the same stuff. But the good news is you did get your license.
Yes, sir.
That would be 251261 ST 251352. Fine and costs in the no proof of insurance and will be due 30 days from today, which would be February 28th, which I think is a Saturday. Now you have this earlier unpaid ticket from 2025. Give them that. It is 257004479OT. Are you aware of that?
I am now.
All right, I want you to go out to the counter. The other one is due in 30 days. I want you to figure out a payment plan or something or pay that other one. Or you'll end up getting suspended again, potentially.
Not a problem, Your Honor.
So you're off the driving suspended merry-go-round.
I was getting nauseous.
I get busy. All right, Mr. Clark, thank you for your patience. Every day somebody ends up being last. That happened to be you, but you got a very generous plea offer from the prosecutor. And you need to take care of that other old ticket and you should be good to go for a while.
Thank you, sir.
All right, good luck.
Thank you.
Ross, as soon as we go off the record, I want to touch base with you on our cases for next week.
Yes. Hey, take care of yourself. Good to see you, man.
Thank you very much.
All right, that finishes our arraignment docket. I don't think we have any bench warrants or anything. We got some things to take care of. We were first compelled to do live streaming because the courts were closed because of COVID. And the court proceedings are to be public. So the solution was we did everything by Zoom. So in the early days of all this, May of 2020 and through that first year, everything was live streamed and the live chat was left on. We didn't even realize what it was. As soon as we were no longer required to live stream, when the courts were open again, the other judges here in St. Joseph County stopped and I continued to live stream my proceedings. And I plan to continue when we move to the historic building. Judge Stutzman, however, is going to have to do some of his matters remotely, either from his office or from some other location while the construction is going on. And so those matters are going to have to be live streamed. So he will be starting his live stream again, I think next week. But he was the one that originally taught us all how to do it. The programs have changed some since then. And he's going to get reacquainted with it. So we'll work on that. Not yet.
Did you get a hold of him or is Angela? Okay.
All right. Good morning once again. We're here for the sentencing in People versus Robert Lee White, 252284. Mr. White.
Good morning.
Mr. White was here in a timely manner, waiting. The attorneys have been discussing the matter. Present is his attorney, Ms. Casey Strong, and Abby Stoll is here from the prosecuting attorney's office. This is a FY case, which stands for a felony. It started as a larceny over $1,000, but less than $20,000. This allegedly occurred in the summer of 2025. The defendant was arrested in November of 2025. The felony charges were dismissed and the defendant entered a plea to a misdemeanor charge of larceny more than $200 but less than $1,000. That was done on December 16th. This alleges a number of thefts of wire and other property that belonged to Forest River. There are apparently videos of some of this, and there's some other evidence. There's a co-defendant, Peggy Lytle, who has yet to be arrested. There's an open warrant for her arrest for this same set of circumstances. At any rate, Mr. White entered a plea and the matter was set for sentencing. It was set for sentencing on January 21st. And the defendant called and said, I can't get to court. The person I'm riding with has a diesel truck. It won't start. It was very cold that day. Schools were closed. The roads were bad. We simply agreed to continue the matter until today. It had been set for sentencing. Well, earlier in December and early January, we were trying to determine what the restitution amount would be. So the matter was adjourned from the 21st to today, the 27th. And here we are. Joining us now is Angelique Camfield from the prosecuting attorney's office. And she was attempting to get more information regarding the restitution issue. And it's hard to determine because there were more than one incident. It's hard to value this property. What is its value is for its intended use, or what is its value for scrap? Those are issues that could make restitution difficult to nail down. At any rate, as I indicated, Mr. White entered a plea on December 16th. I talked to him about it. He acknowledged responsibility for this, told me that he stole this property. I'm advised this morning in chambers.
I wasn't aware that I was stealing, sorry.
All right, that you wish to withdraw your plea.
Yes.
All right. You told me you knew you were stealing. I don't know how you would not know you weren't stealing.
There was no signs or anything, Your Honor, and the guy that told me about the place said he's been getting wire from there
All right.
for over 2 years.
All
Your Honor,
right.
I just want
All
to do a blanket
All
Fifth
right.
Amendment. If this is going to be withdrawn, I want to make sure Mr. White understands fully that we are recording and anything he says could be used
Yes,
as an admission.
So, yeah, so say anything. The problem is it wasn't yours. It doesn't matter that other guys were stealing from it. It wasn't your
There was no
property. Stop,
signs of-
stop, stop,
Oh, I'm
stop, stop. And it had value or you wouldn't have taken it. So apparently there were multiple incidents of this, but the upshot of this, Mr. White, the felony charge was dismissed in exchange for your plea to a misdemeanor. Are you advising me this morning that you wish to withdraw your plea and have this matter set for a preliminary examination on a felony charge?
Yeah, Your Honor, because I don't see where there was a crime committed, really.
All right,
It was more of
don't say anything more. I'm not to hear what you have to say, but as your lawyer says, anything
Yeah.
you said could be
Yeah.
used against you. The law in this area, we discussed this in chambers, whether I agree or not, the law says that when someone moves to withdraw their plea prior to sentencing, the court shall grant that motion to withdraw the plea with great liberality, meaning the law favors allowing the defendant to withdraw the plea. Whether I think it's a wise idea or not isn't part of the equation. You're turning a misdemeanor back into a felony. And what would the next step would be to set a pre-exam conference and then ultimately a preliminary examination. Ms. Canfield, were you able to get any restitution information?
I did get some restitution information, Your Honor, and they're in the process of gathering the documents in support of that. But what I can relay to the court and counsel is that I spoke with Mike Getter, who is one of like the main general managers of the company, and he then has the subsequent plant managers that oversee things. The purchasing agent for the White Pigeon plant is Dorothy. And Dorothy was gathering some documents for the alleged drum of wire that was stolen, some receipts for their scrap metal that when they turned it in for money, they earned $1.26 a pound. And she says each drum, if you will, was 600 to 700 pounds. And there were 9 of those that had been taken over the course of these few weeks. There was also an entire drum of new wire that was taken. which was presumably something the company would use throughout the business. So that was not scrap. That was $1,702. And then they alleged that power cords were taken. The defense would be able to point out that in the video, there aren't any power cords in the wagon. There are none that were demonstrated the defendant to be near, at least on the one occasion that it was videoed. But what the defendant turned it in for, and the receipts that are in the police report indicate that he earned $4,243 off of what he had taken and turned in. So that is the very least amount of what restitution would be, is what he had earned off of it. But I do believe it could go upwards of $14,371, depending upon the court's determination of it after a hearing. The plant manager, for what it's worth, for the defendant and his counsel, had indicated to me that if there were a sanction and a jail sentence, while they would like the restitution back, their main concern is for somebody who is a repetitive theft from their property. They would like some jail, and they may be willing to forego restitution for a jail term. So I just wanted that to be on the record. Because, I mean, if a plea is withdrawn, we will not be making any more misdemeanor offers, and this will proceed as a felony. And I would try it as a felony. So that is the one caveat for the defendant that's important for him to know, and I know the court's already mentioned it.
And for the sake of the record, I did discuss that in the abstract with Mr. White, because it had not been officially extended, but we had that conversation as well.
For the record, the guy stated that he did
All
not
right.
care about the wire that I was taking.
All right. So some unknown person, apparently somebody cares about it. So do you wish to withdraw your plea?
Yeah.
I would just state, the court will, for the people, we obviously want to just object to that based upon the fact that there was no error in the taking of the plea. The defendant read his rights. He understood his rights. He had representation. The court was very clear in its taking of the plea. The defendant admitted the offense. And the other portion is, so if there's no error in the taking of the plea that mandates a withdrawal, there has to be a manifest injustice. I don't believe that's been demonstrated by the defense. And I do think also, I don't know that there'd be prejudice to the prosecution necessarily, Your Honor. We have the witnesses available, so I don't know that that element applies.
Well, I don't know about the manifest injustice standard, but yeah, there is a prejudice to the state. For example, let's say this was a plea that was taken on an assault case. And after you entered the plea, the complainant was killed in an automobile accident, and they would be unable to present the complainant.
Well, I feel that there was no.
Stop. I don't know what you feel. I don't agree with it, but I understand that's your cockeyed theory of it. My sense of this was the amount stolen is at
Yes.
minimum $4,000 and up to $14,000. If you want a felony, I guess you can have one.
May I say something, Your Honor?
All right, I may stop you, but yes.
I've been in here several times. I've always stepped up, to take responsibility for what I've done. I don't feel that, I know for a fact that I didn't take no power cords out of there, and
Well-
I didn't take no big spool of wire either.
All right, one of the things, a lot of stuff was stolen, and you may not have been the only person stealing.
Yeah, I just, in the,
They've got some issues regarding that, but the other issue is your counsel had met with you, advised with you in good faith, and worked out this misdemeanor plea to your advantage, and now that the sentence is nigh, you wish to withdraw your plea. It's not fair for her to have to continue to represent you in this matter. I will release Casey Strong as attorney. I will allow you to withdraw your plea. As I said, this was in my mind, a generous plea offer. It would be something they could try. The problem is they got a bunch of other much more serious cases than this that need to get tried. And so sometimes you have to make a decision and resolve the less serious cases to make room for the more serious cases. So this doesn't trump a murder case or assault with a hammer or a criminal sexual conduct case, the kinds of things that are pending. But you do have an absolute right to have a trial. Where are you living?
staying in Sturgis.
Are you at the Maple Street address?
Yeah.
Are you really, or just sort of homeless?
I don't know. It's my dad's place.
All right. I would have just set it for a prelim, but we're gonna get new counsel. And it wouldn't be fair to them to appoint it and just set a prelim, so I'm gonna set a pre-exam conference for February 10th at 8:30 and a preliminary examination for February 17th at 1. So we're back to square one. We haven't accomplished much between December and now. One of the things in here is you denied everything. Peggy Lytle admitted everything. According to the affidavit, she says, yeah, we understood they were stealing stuff. How many times they
I was
stole
right.
what?
She told him that we.
All right, stop. So you denied anything, knowing anything about anything. You didn't say some version about, hey, some guy told me I could take this. You just denied it altogether. And then she said, yeah, we've been stealing this stuff. They were out here 2 or 3 times this week. So she hasn't been arrested yet. I don't know where she is. I don't know if anybody's even looking for her. But as I said, if you want a felony, I guess you can have one. You can go to prison for this, as opposed to a jail sentence, but you've stated your position. So we'll set a pre-exam conference for February 10th at 8:30. I suspect your new lawyer is going to tell you the same thing that Ms. Strong told you, that this misdemeanor plea was a good offer, but we won't proceed with the sentence today. In the meantime, the prosecutor will continue to work on that restitution figure. So I want you to go out to the counter. We're going to appoint a new lawyer for you, set a pre-exam conference for February 10th and a prelim for February 17th if needed at 1 o'clock. I'll do an order allowing the defendant to withdraw the plea and allowing Ms. Strong to withdraw as counsel.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank
Your Honor.
All right, that's as far as we got in that.